So you said, when do I replace my windows? If you haven't replaced your windows, you need to replace your windows, because your windows play a huge part in the functionality of your home, and they are not built with good windows unless it's custom and they give you the option. So, yeah, it's a cool thing. Just hearing people's success stories, life after replacement. It's almost like a reality show.
Maybe that needs to be your other podcast.
A life after replacement.
What it's like now, this is what it was like. Thanks, Lyndol.
Welcome to today's Heart of the Hustle. I am here with Lyndol Woodruff.
What's up?
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here.
We've known each other for a few years, but I'm super excited to just sit down and talk.
You know, it's been 12 years. We met in 2014.
Maybe.
Yes. That's when I first moved back from LA.
Yeah.
One of the first little areas that I moved to was we met behind the church.
Yeah.
2004. 14. I mean.
Yeah.
14.
Well, I didn't start till 2016.
So it was 2016 then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time.
It has been. That's crazy. It's been the Super Bowl parties at your house.
Yep. We're having another one this year.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, I'll be there.
So come by.
Yeah. It's good to be here.
Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us, start with work. So you work at a place called Woodruff Windows, and your last name's Woodruff. So there's some connection there. I would imagine.
Yeah. There's a little connection. So Woodruff Windows, it was originally my dad's hobby that he started in 1982. We got some good windows put on our house. Like the breakfast area in our house was real drafty. And it was very uncomfortable for my dad. And one of his hair customers, my dad was a very well-known barber in Dallas, and one of his hair customers installed windows. So he was talking to him one day about how drafty the breakfast area is. And the guy was like, well, dude, just buy the windows at this factory locally and I'll put them in for you. And it totally changed the environment at breakfast. My dad was comfortable. It totally changed everything. So he loved it so much, he wanted to help his friends do the same thing. So he put a little window display in the waiting room of his barbershop with some literature and didn't tell anybody about it. He just kind of put it up there. And that first year, he and that installer did 80 jobs together that first year. Yeah.
Wow.
He had my dad at one point had a 1,400 person clientele. It was like a 3-month waiting list to get your haircut by my dad. Just super charismatic. Everybody loved him. Still living in the same area he grew up in,
The apple didn't fall far from the tree.
No.
On that one.
No, not at all. It's been bruised a couple times on the way down, for sure. But yeah, that's kind of how it all started. I grew up around it my whole life, through lots of trial and error and tribulations in my own life. And in 2018, I came to realize just how cool his hobby was and how beneficial it actually is for homeowners when they replace their old windows. Because people just think it's just windows, right? There's nothing sexy about it. But the difference it truly makes in the comfort of your house, and when you can help someone get more comfortable in their home, that can have a ripple down effect and change their whole life. That's how my dad looked at it. So when I started to learn it, I was like, man, I want to actually turn this into a business. This is really cool. So 2019, we incorporated it officially. And I've just been growing ever since. And now, according to all AI and whatever, we're number one in the area. That was my mission, to become the most trusted window replacement company in Collin County. And I sold it a couple years ago to someone that's a lot smarter than me. So I grew it to my ceiling. With business ownership. People, there's a lot of ego involved in that, and people are so popular these days to be the entrepreneur, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? But there is a lot behind the scenes to running a business, and if you don't have, you have to be able to delegate. You have to be able to, if you're going to scale, right? So I got to this place, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I had just become a father. My daughter was 9 months old. And I was trying to manage all this stuff, and I'm like, no. So yeah, I met somebody from McKinney that's super smart, very talented, sold him the company 2.5 years ago, and he's been running it, and I've been doing sales, and now we've got employees and office and multiple sales reps, and we're number one.
There's something to be
pretty
said
cool
for knowing your lane and focusing on it. right?
Yes.
Like you're like, I'm a great sales sales guy, relationship guy.
Yep.
That's where that's where I need to be. Let me hand the business stuff over to somebody who knows.
Yeah.
There's a great book called The Innovator's Dilemma, and it's all about this, right? When the person who starts the business being willing to move outside the business and delegate and give some of it up, and how hard that is, and what that process needs to look like. But you have to do it. You have to if you want to scale, right? I'm very much in that spot in my business too. Is like, and I don't even mind, right? I don't mind giving it up, but I do have a little of that. Nobody does it as good as me, but I admire you, being able to say, hey, I've tapped out here, right? Let me go focus on what I'm good at, and let's get this thing to grow by bringing in the right people.
Yeah, because it was bigger than me. I mean, my grandfather was a really successful commercial contractor in Dallas in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. They built a lot of Irving. They were brick mason contractors. So they built Nimitz High School. They built all the old Woolworth shopping centers. They built churches, libraries. They were like the go-to people. So whenever I realized how the hard work ethic from him was passed to my dad was laying brick for him when he was 13. And my grandfather was the type of guy that would show up with a sledgehammer on the job site, and if one brick was out of line, he'd knock the whole wall down and make you do it again. Like, we don't cut corners. We do it right. So that was ingrained in my dad. So when he started the window thing, he looked to partner with installers who thought the same way. So you don't have to worry. Like, the people on the job site will be doing it right because they care, So the whole thing was built on care. So when I decided to incorporate it and put our last name on it, it was to honor my grandfather and the integrity and the legacy. And when I got to a point where I knew I couldn't do this anymore, I wanted to find somebody that could take the legacy and do something special with it that I know my skill set wouldn't do. And it was easy for me. It was an easy decision. Now, years ago, when I was in my whole Hollywood days, trying to make it, and like, look at me, like all kinds of ego and wrapped up in this stuff, I never would have done that. I got this, But no, it's really freeing. I think one of the most powerful things we can do is get to a place of true honesty with ourselves, and then just let go, And thankfully, the person that I ended up meeting he's killing it. He's a great guy. 2 beautiful little daughters that, are being raised with my daughter. So now I call it a multifamily business.
I love that.
Yeah.
And your daughter's 3.
Yes.
Terrorizing you and the new puppy.
The new puppy. Yeah. That's a great decision. Sarcastically.
Puppy when we're with a 3-year-old.
With the 3-year-old. Yeah, we had terrific 2s. She was great. But we are having some thrashing 3s, I think is how I've heard it put. And then I'm gearing up for finally 4. Finally 4. But yeah, I ended up getting a puppy for her for Christmas. A little 2-month-old puppy. Oh, man, what was I thinking? But she is adorable. She's very cute. My daughter cuddles with her, and it's really sweet. But yeah, it's a lot.
It'll be great in another year or so.
Yes. Yeah. When she can. So many people told me, wait till it can be her chore. Like, when she's conscious enough to know this is what I need to do. Because right now she's still emotionally like all over, like not fully there. I'm like, she's almost there. I'm like, calm down. Sit. Like, okay, all right. So it's not really registering.
Yeah.
How you have to chill. Yeah, it's an adventure.
And you're raising her pretty much on your own right now.
I am a solo dad.
Yeah,
I am a solo dad. I don't like to say single, because I am technically married, and I've talked a lot about this openly because we want the story to help people, whether if it's one person or 1,000 or whatever. But so many people get behind the wheel when they shouldn't. I've done it multiple times. If people research me, I've got a past. It's all over the place. I've came out of the fire and shining on the other end. And so I love to share the journey, because it's been very challenging and just very traumatic and tragic. But yeah, my wife ended up behind the wheel when she shouldn't have been, and got in a car accident, and someone lost their life. Tragically. Very sad. Very sad. So we actually got pregnant 2 weeks before she was sentenced in court. That we had no idea she was pregnant. She got sentenced 8 years. And she was in Collin County jail, and I went to visit her 2 weeks in, and her head was crooked. I said, "You're pregnant, aren't you?" And she said, "Yep." Like, oh my gosh, what? And we'd had miscarriages before, and we're in our 40s. We're not young. So at first I was like, well, we'll see. I wasn't just like, oh. But yeah, when they transferred her to the medical prison and I started visiting twice a month and the belly was just getting bigger and bigger, I was like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. I'm going to be a dad by myself trying to grow this business. And it's cool. It's cool because when she came along, I had joined a networking group. I love networking. I love building relationships. And a lot of those relationships are why I was able to grow the business so fast. And there's more to the story too. We can totally touch on this if you want, the even deeper aspect. But what was really cool is I found a local networking group to join. And my daughter started coming to networking with me when she was 2 weeks old. In a Duna, in the little collapsible car seat stroller thing. And everybody knew the situation. So ladies would take turns holding her in the back and feeding her for me so I could focus on building the business.
And we're all perfectly happy to do that, by the way. Anyone who has older children who have no need for them anymore, we are all happy to be aunties to any baby at any time.
Yep, you have baby fever. It's very easy to find a gal that'll step in. And in fact, a lot of my AA gal friends, my gal friends from AA really stepped up too, and they threw this big baby shower for us, and it was really awesome. It was really awesome. So many people came out of the woodworks. But you know what I realized? We need to have a third anniversary of that party. Because it's not the newborn stage parents really need help with. It's the toddler stage. So we should probably make that a national movement. Like, let's come together again 3 years later and ask how I'm doing. You know what I mean? They're there at the beginning and then everyone runs away. I can't get anyone to answer the phone now.
You're like, now that she's a terror, I'm just going to lay cutely in her car seat. No one wants to be involved.
No one. But see, that's the cool thing about what I'm learning. My daughter is an angel. She's great at school. She's a helper. She whistles while she works. Like, she's got a great attitude and she's all in and she's like team leader. But when we get home, she knows exactly what to do with daddy, terrorizing me. But that's great because she's comfortable. She knows she can fully let it out and she's safe, So I would much rather it be my daughter be a terror with me and chill and good in public. That's like a toddler version of fake it till you make it.
Yeah. And no one can manipulate you like your kids.
No, not even.
No one. My son hasn't called me. I split custody with my ex-husband.
Yeah.
And it's snowing and we're all kind of stuck at home and all that. And he hasn't called me all week. Right? I'll call him or text him or he's a teenager.
Yeah.
I'm just going to call his mom.
Yeah. He's wired in.
I get a call last night and I'm like, either someone's dead or he needs something. And he's like, Mom, they're about to have a sale on this Pokemon thing on Walmart. Can you log into your app and buy it for me? And can I have the password and your credit card so that I can do it from my computer too? I was like,
Mom.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
It's so nice to hear. How was your day?
Yeah.
Have you been able to get out? How's the snow? Something, some acknowledgement. And here, baby, here's the password.
Yep. No, this is
I'll
all I
log
need.
in for you.
Those are good for it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Appreciate that. And something about a little girl with a dad. When I found out I was going to be a dad, it was one thing. But when I found out I was going to be a dad to a little girl, oh man, I started listening to different stuff. I started reading articles. I started looking at all my habits. I started no, you're going to be influencing this little girl, man. That is special and fragile. And she's going to be up against so many different challenges than a dude would. it's just different. So it hit different. There's a huge, that's played a huge part in me really opening my eyes, like getting clarity. That's why we're doing the podcast together that you're going to be producing for me. And I'm really excited about that. Clarity changes everything.
Tell us more about the podcast. It's coming out soon by February 2026.
Are we going to do February? I've been saying April. Are we going to do beginning of Q2 or are we going to do February? What are we going to do? Do you have any idea? We've only had one planning session.
True. We're here doing a second one.
Yeah.
Right
we got the logo.
Got the logo.
We got the logo done.
Ready to go. We're working on it. We're working on it soon. It'll be here soon. Spring 2026. Yeah. We're recording right now in almost February 2026. So Clarity Changes Everything is going to be the name of the podcast. Tell us a little bit about what listeners can expect.
The main driving force for this, before I decided to do it, I had to really do some soul searching and ask, why am I really doing this? Because before, all the years in chasing Hollywood, it was about me and ego and validation and just a whole bunch of like acting out to fill traumatic holes. So I had to really do a lot of soul searching. Like, why am I doing this? Is this just another thing to get noticed? Is this just another thing because I need attention to feel complete and whole? No, there are some things over the last couple years that have happened, just challenges I've been up against as a single dad, raising a girl in this culture, in this society, that have been so eye-opening to me. And everywhere I look, I see most people living virtually, trapped in a screen, replaying all kinds of things in their head throughout the entire day that serve no purpose. I took a 3.5-month cleanse last year from virtually everything. I changed my phone number. I put my laptop in the safe and unplugged, got off social media, just hung out with my daughter, and I went to work doing manual labor just because for $12 an hour with a guy from church, just to work, just to get back to baseline, humanity. And I noticed something after 2 weeks, because, the ADHD is so common and anxiety, people were getting diagnosed with anxiety. Come on, dude. And it's just skyrocketed and skyrocketed and skyrocketed since the boom of these devices overtaking the human mind. Because the human mind is powerful, but it's not designed to just take in constant floods of information. It makes you nuts. So I was on medication for ADHD. I've been on medication for anxiety, abused both of those in the past. Like, with my addiction past, I don't have any business taking anything. But my mind would never shut up. It was constant. I couldn't have a conversation with people. My brain was all over the place. Oh, well, I'm just ADD. You hear that all the time. Sherry, when I tell you, within 2 weeks of unplugging from everything, I found myself in church in the foyer between services having a conversation with my buddy Don. And it dawned on me. Next thing I knew, it had been 45 minutes in a conversation with this gentleman with not one other thought in my head. No medication, nothing. Just only working and spending time in what matters. Life, connecting with people, smiling at someone, being there for your kid, showing up at work, doing your best. Just the main foundational things of being a functional human completely leveled my mind. And it just all clicked. Clarity, 100% clarity will change everything. 100%. And so now, I listen to different podcasts. I listen to different things about just the effects of, coming from an LA background, there's a lot about media that a lot of people don't really understand. I mean, it's been used for decades now to confuse people, to keep people spending money, to keep people separate, to keep people less than, intentionally. There has been intentional mental manipulation with media for a long time. So now my thing is, we need to be intentional for ourselves. Just because it's there doesn't mean it's life. We have a choice. We totally have a choice as to what we participate in. We have a choice as to what messaging we pay attention to. And the games that are being played on a very high level with visual programming and mental manipulation are very real. Where's the camera? Very real. I mean, some of the things I heard in working in that industry on how they use music and all kinds of stuff to manipulate and control, those are very real things.
It's all marketing. It's all
Yes.
designed to manipulate and control people to buy things.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
I'm
You know
part
the
of the
history.
machine.
You know the history of advertising, right? You're a marketing lady. You know why it was developed and who developed it and all that, yeah?
Go ahead.
Sigmund Freud's nephew, I believe, is the godfather of advertising and PR. And they took what they knew about the subconscious part of the mind. They took what they knew about the power of the mind to create messaging and imaging to manipulate people into buying things they didn't need. Our whole society and culture is set up on mental manipulation, instant stimulation to create impulse, which is driven the profit machine, right? So what's so cool about these days, if you just know that basic little bit of information, so many people just go with it because it's life. Oh, it's here. It's part of our life now. It's just what we do. Well, you're going to be stuck in the 98%, And I was one of those too. I've been on MySpace since 2005. MySpace and Facebook and all the things. I was working in the music industry in LA from 2009 to 2013, the latter part of my LA career. First was stand-up and acting, but it eased into, I became an executive in the music business. Really interesting how it all happened. Really just because I could talk. Like, I don't know anything about the music business. But I met some cool people that were in the music business. They're like, hey, you want to join our team? And I'm like, yeah, it's cool, man. So now I got a Beverly Hills office. Like, what the heck? It was really bananas, but I learned a lot. And it's, so I was in the industry right around the time that everything was going digital and people were trying to figure out the business model. And just some of the conversations I heard were just very eye-opening. So very glad I got out of that industry. Very glad. I like to say I survived Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because it can really suck the life out of you for sure. But yeah, with all these different, I mean, I've been sucked into it. I have literally lived online since probably 1997. But it really didn't start to get super out of control till social media took over. The devices and the smartphones, and they're great tools. But they're tools. They're not an appendage. They are literally becoming another organ. They're literally becoming like, I heard Elon talking about it. We're like literally cyborgs. We're one with technology. And it's got great uses. But good God, it'll mess you up. It will. So that's where clarity changes everything comes from. And really, it's going to be conversations with entrepreneurs or people with really cool stories of overcoming adversity, people that lost everything and rebuilt everything from nothing, and just lessons that they've learned along the way. And then, of course, we're going to have cool episodes with some of our Woodruff Windows happy customers and local home service providers and talk about the home service industry. So the book I'm writing is called Windows to a Better Life. Clarity Changes Everything is the subtitle. And it's all, people use sporting analogies for self-improvement. It's the same kind of thing, but it's window replacement analogies for life improvement. When you can clear the fog, you have a much more beneficial life. And same kind of thing. When you replace your windows, you have a much better experience in your house. Well, when you change the glass in the frame, in your head, the framing especially, you have a much better experience as a human.
I love that analogy
Yeah.
of clearing the glass, right? I talked about that in my TED Talk in a little bit of a different way of, the masks we put on, right? Especially in, just in our society in general, right? Trying to be something that we're not.
Yes.
Trying to be what social media tells us to be or advertising tells us to be. And And, for me, it drove me crazy to the point of addiction, right? And I know that's something you've struggled with as well, right? So you left. You grew up here in Dallas?
I'm a Dallas boy.
And then you moved. Yeah. So you moved out to LA. Tell us more about this Hollywood thing.
How that thing happened is kind of cool. So I was, I did the bouncing around. I started singing in church when I was 3. So I've been on stage my entire life. And then that kind of transitioned into musical theater and stuff like that in high school. I was playing golf at the same time, but I was really bit by this performance bug. I just addicted to applause. First time I sang in church, I remember it. I was 3, and I went up on stage and took the mic from the pastor during the Sunday morning sermon, and I just belted out, "Oh, victory in Jesus." I did all the verses, and then I bowed 3 ways, and everyone stood up and clapped. Hooked. That was me. Sign me up. So, right out of high school, I just did the normal thing, waited tables, bartended. When you have a lot of personality and you know how to talk, you should never be broke. You have no excuse. Like, you can always wait tables. You can always bartend. I mean, if you can talk, you should be good. But anyway, I went that route, and then I ended up working at Joe's Crab Shack. And I was on the opening team of the one in Mesquite, Texas. And at the time, Joe's was like one of the dopest places to be. It was so out of hand, and people were dancing on tables, and it was only open for dinner, and people were doing coitus in the restrooms. It was a nuts environment, and I was 18. It was my first waiting tables job, and I ate it up. And one of the guys that worked there, I'm just a natural entertainer, and he told me, he said, "Dude, you need to go to LA." Like, I had been watching stand-up since I was 4. I used to sneak out of my room and watch Dice Clay on HBO, which is crazy because fast forward, I got to share the stage with him in LA, which was one of the biggest moments of my life. And he gave me his little cigarette that he chewed on. It was just really interesting how my life's played out. But he told me, "You need to go to LA, man. Like, you've got some type of knack. You're great with people. You make things just funny. Your delivery's great." So I bought into that. And I got an opportunity. There was about 2 or 3 years, 18 to 21, where I was riddled in cocaine addiction, like riddled. Lots of scotch, lots of cocaine. I love Tom Cruise's analogy in the movie Cocktail, where he says, bartending becomes like one long night with a few comatose daylight hours.
Yeah.
I've always loved that analogy, and that's exactly what that industry is like. Well, it got so bad, I kept getting fired from job after job after job. And if you get fired for alcohol as a bartender, you have a problem. I got fired from Papacitos 3 different times. They kept bringing me back because I was so good with people. I had corporate recognition, certificates. Like, people would write gift cards about me this long, like, unbelievable experience. Like, when's the last time you went out of your way to get a comment card at a restaurant to fill it out? It just doesn't happen. So because I just had this ability, I ended up finding a job through the Dallas Observer. I had been laid off for I don't know how long. I say laid off like it was a corporate layoff from the industry. Fired. Get out of here. I got fired Christmas morning at Snuffers for passing out at a table during my shift. Like, good Lord. Just bananas. Like, 18 to 21 was very, very bad. Very bad. So anyway, I'm looking through the Observer. I'm at the bar at Buffalo Wild Wings. My roommate was a cook at Buffalo Wild Wings in Carrollton. And I'm looking through the classifieds, and I see this big ad. It said, "Actors, tired of waiting tables?" And I said, "Yes, that is me, absolutely." So I called the 1-800 number, and it was a manufacturing company out of Carrollton that manufactured a whole bunch of different household products. So they were on QVC all the time doing knives and the cheese graters. They had the Magic cloth, which is now known as the ShamWow. I mean, it's all the same cloth. They're made in Germany. They've been around for years and years and years. So anyway, I called them. I sobered up for 3 days. I let myself get clear-headed first. And I called them, and I went in for an interview and did like a reading for them, and they hired me on the spot. And what they did is they hired aspiring actors to travel around and do live infomercials inside of Kmart with their products. So you'd learn a script, they'd put up a stage, We had corporate apartments. We were like a little team of 13 people that just traveled around the country and put on these little live infomercials. So that was kind of my first paid stage gig, and I made great money doing it, and that got me all over the country. And eventually I met one of the gals that worked with the company that was pretty in LA, and she was kind of a success story for the company, and ended up getting some movie parts and, stuff like that. So I connected with her, and that's really how I got to LA, was that job. And it was the owner of that company that put me on stage for the first time as a comic. Because I studied stand-up comedy for 3 years and read books and did exercises and all kinds of stuff before I ever did it. I had a whole bunch of writing. So the owner of this company was tired of watching me write. So he signed me up for an open mic at Hot Monkey Love, which is a coffee shop by San Diego State University in San Diego. We showed up for coffee, and it was open mic, and I didn't know it, and they called my name, and it was the first 5 minutes I ever did. And I got a laugh. First thing out of my mouth, got a laugh. So I was hooked, and that kind of started the whole getting me to LA. Lots of crazy, crazy stories. There's a recovery podcast called This Pink Cloud. I don't know if you've heard of it before. They did 2-part interview with me. So if you want to know details on some more of those stories, you can check out those interviews on YouTube. This Pink Cloud Recovery Podcast. I kind of go deep on the Hollywood, but it was just a crazy, nuts adventure. Just battling addiction and alcoholism, trying to make it in LA. Traveling every once in a while, doing live infomercials to keep everything paid for, and living out of a suitcase for years and years and years. I mean, I've lived in offices on Hollywood Boulevard. I've lived in buses. I've lived quite the colorful, crazy life. And that's really all of those stories is what's going to kind of culminate to create this book, going through all kinds of different life scenarios and circumstances and realities, prison, jail, multiple DWIs. I mean, it's been one heck of a journey. And to land me here, sober, and a dad to a little girl selling windows, you would have never told me that in a million years. But I love helping people. And when I've really figured out that when I replace somebody's windows, I'm helping change their life, I'm that woo-woo with it. Because it takes a lot for me to not make it about me. Like, I'm just naturally on stage type of person. You know what I mean? So that's really, it's been a crazy journey. And I'm just thankful to be here and be alive and be able to have cool conversations with people like you.
Right.
So yeah, it's been pretty powerful. The lessons, and it's not really that complicated.
Yeah,
that's the crazy part about it. Life is really not. We make it complicated. We make it tough. So that's why one of my things. It's funny that I'm trying to build a digital media brand for myself, and I'm telling people to turn it off. You know what I mean? Like, because the benefits that I've had in my life of weaning out all the crap that doesn't matter. Just just peace, calm, not frazzled, can seize the day with intention and purpose and kindness, I love it. It's a cool place to be.
And because clarity changes everything.
Clarity does change everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In life, in business, in windows, everything.
Well, I'm super excited to help you launch your podcast.
Yeah, I'm excited to work with you.
And if people want to find you, where can they find you?
Well, usually I give out the old phone number because that one stays on Do Not Disturb.
We're on you can call my old number and then I no longer check. That would be great. But they can find you you're on social media.
I am on social media.
You there.
I'm not completely anti. There are benefits to it, 100%. It is a tool. It's great to have for connection. There's all kinds of ways to use it. Just don't let it use you. And I do want to say this, though. We still have a few more minutes. I do want to make sure and make this perfectly clear. Since we do have a choice, right? What's interesting to me is because we grew up with media being a certain format, and it's all about drama, showcasing the worst parts of humanity with a magnifying glass as if that's how everybody is. It's been that way for a long time. And culture has followed suit. I don't know if people realize this, but if you go backwards in time, our culture has followed the trends of what's been shown to us.
Yeah. Well, and it all changed with the 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah.
That's what really changed our perception of the world.
Yep. And different kinds of music and pop culture. And you can see the dramatic shifts in behavior following a certain trend. One of my mentors said it's television because it tells a vision. And it's programming because it's programming people. And so one of the projects I want to do later is called Media and the Mind. And just really take a deep dive and like really looking at the effects of media on culture and society. And really it's played such a massive role in getting us to where we're at right now. So what's interesting to me is because media was done a certain way for so long to people in our generation, we see most of our friends leveraging their own social media in the same exact model. We could use it to change the world. We could use it to create a better culture and society, but no, we're so addicted to shit or crap or whatever I'm supposed to say. I don't even care. It's so true. Everybody is an addict on some level, and we are in a culture of addiction, hardcore. And I think, honestly, this addiction to social media is way more poisonous and self-destructive than any substance could be, in my personal opinion.
And I see a responsibility to put content out there that isn't just fluff, right? That's going to make people think and utilize the tools to get good messages out there, to get good people out there. I don't do a ton of the gimmicky type things, right? And I'm okay with that. I'd rather have fewer viewers, but have, the people that I really want, in my world, both in business and otherwise. But I think you're right. I think, the digital era has democratized media, and anybody, especially AI, right? Anybody can create really interesting media now that is extremely persuasive. That's going to be used for good things, and it's going to be used for bad things.
Just like anything else, right?
Just like anything else, right? Yeah. But we can make the choice of which side, we want to be on when it comes to it, because the tools are there. And I do believe strongly that social media can be used as an agent for social change. We just have to have enough people who are willing to use it that way.
Yeah. And there is a great shift in it, because I think you even are, I think currently, and I think Joe Rogan has helped a lot with this too. Like just the enormity of the platform that he's created to bring on so many he's inspired so many people to kind of follow the same type of model and leverage media for positive change instead of manipulation and control. Because we as people, we're creators, right? We are creators. We are an extension of creation, and we're always creating, right? So, when you understand, I think when you fully understand your impact in culture and society, people say, I want to make a difference. Well, you are. Every single day you're making a difference. But the question is, how are you making a difference? How are you showing up at your neighborhood grocery store? Are you showing up bitter, pissed, leaving the cart in the parking lot? Like, how are you showing up? And I think when someone gets to a place of realizing how much impact they actually have just being an everyday person, and they make that shift to be better, to become a better version of that, that could have a massive ripple effect. But that's the only way that things could ever change, honestly, because you can't, it's not external. It's an internal thing. So I think the more we could get to a place individually of making those personal changes to become better, I'm interested to see what that would even look like.
And to me, that's the definition of clarity.
Yeah.
And the definition of sobriety, right? It's not just physical sobriety, it's emotional sobriety, being very clear about who you are, your impact in the world, and how your decisions have a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And I love when people who have gone through some sort of a physical addiction, as you and I both have, are willing to say, hey, I have chosen clarity. I have chosen to decide who I am. It's changed everything for me. How can I help other people do that so they can live a more intentional and meaningful life, both online and otherwise?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's going to be really cool about your podcast.
I'm excited about it. Do you have is there anything cool about your morning routine that you do to help keep clarity?
Yeah.
What does that look like to you?
I start every morning with meditation right after I get up. I brush my teeth usually.
Billy is thankful.
Yeah, Billy is thankful for that. My husband is very thankful for that. And then I go right into meditation. I listen to apps. I'm not, I've been doing meditation and yoga since I was 19.
Oh, wow.
But I can't just sit quietly. Like anybody who thinks they can do that, I mean, good luck, right? That's a very advanced form of yoga. I had listened to, guided meditations on YouTube. So I do that every morning for 15, 20 minutes, with some level of success. Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so cool.
I do a journaling exercise every day, which, in a 12-step recovery, they talk about doing sort of a daily inventory, and that's something that I do. So I write, I have journal prompts that I do every day. The first one is, what did I do well yesterday? Right. Give myself some props for what I did well. What could I have done better? And what do I need to do over? And so do over is like, I need to make an amends. Do better is like, I spent all day worrying about bills, or I spent too much time on social media, or I zoned out, watching stupid television shows for longer than I should have, or I didn't move enough, right? I have a couple things that I wanted, I didn't connect with anyone, right? I'm an isolator, right? So I didn't connect with anyone. Then I do a gratitude list, right? They say gratitude in the morning changes your mindset, and I absolutely believe in that.
Yeah.
Then I do things I know to be true, and that's where I really manifest. That's my kind of my manifestation station, right? Where I say, here's what I believe in. Here's are the intentions that I'm setting out into the world, right? And it's often things that I'm trying to overcome. So if I'm let's say I've struggled a lot with money mindset. And so I will, for as long as I need to, write in my journal every single day, right? I am crazy good at what I do, and people are happy to pay me tons of money to work with me.
Nice.
Like literally,
yeah.
Right? It's reframing, it's rewiring, right?
Mm-hmm.
People like me, and gosh, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me.
Yes.
Remember
What's that? Yeah. What's that from?
Was it Stuart Smalley on SNL?
Yes, that is. I think that's what it was. And gosh darn it, people like me. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
He did his daily affirmation.
Do you do that daily?
Yeah, so I do that every day. And then the last section I have is prayers. And so
cool.
It's always help me with this, help me with that, help me stay sober, both emotionally and physically. Help me not yell at my wonderful husband today. Help me, be of service when it comes to me. Help guide me to do the next right thing in my life, because I don't know what it is. I'm always trying to control the show. I'm always trying to run everything.
Right.
I'm always trying to say, okay, well, this is how it has to be. I need to be making $1 million by the time I'm whatever it is. Right.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work that way. So a lot of times it's, allow me to be led. Allow me to to surrender, when I need to make a decision. Make it obvious to me.
Yeah.
I have conversations there where I'm like, God, you made me stupid and I cannot see what you want me to do next. So you're going to have to hit me over the head with it. Sorry. You made me this way.
Yeah. You made me this way, and you can also heal it. You can also help.
Yeah. So don't be subtle. So
that's my subtle doesn't work with me either. I'm a hard-headed individual. Yeah.
I would love to add some physical movement in it, but by then I'm usually like ready to get my day going. So I exercise at night. It's the only way that I will allow myself to turn off my brain. Otherwise, I'll just work till 2 a.m, right?
Oh, so you find that exercising in the evening helps to slow that down?
It's my now we're done
with
the day.
Maybe I should try that
thing.
Okay.
And then after that, the phone's away.
Awesome.
And I'm done. I'm done. Because I need something on my calendar to reset that, right? Because otherwise I'll just go. Especially I have 50-50 custody of my son, so I have him every other week.
Right.
He's there. It's easier. I pick him up at school. There is an automatic shift in my day, right?
Yeah.
He's home now. He wants to talk. He's hungry, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
There is an automatic stop to my work day. When he's not there, it gets a little blurrier, right? It gets a little, I can just keep going. I can, even if Billy's home and like he wants to watch a show or something, I still got the laptop, right? Yeah, I'm not able to stop. So this saying, okay, it's 7 o'clock, I'm going to go to the gym. I've got a class that I'm going to do, or, something like that will force me to stop and set some better boundaries. Because that's hard, especially as an entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's when Everly was really small, like when she was newborn and stuff, and she just basically stayed in her swing, you know what I mean? I could still work in the evening. Wasn't a big deal, at the start of it, at the start of being a dad. So I still had my entrepreneurial evenings. I can't do anything when I get home with her. No, the toddler, she's climbing on everything. If I want her to live, I got to pay attention to her. You know what I mean? Before I know it, she'll be on top of the refrigerator in 2 seconds, jumping off, especially because she's a Woodruff. That's just how we roll, She's a little adventurous little thing. That's one thing I do kind of miss, though, is having my few hours in the evening to kind of really sit down, think about the day, think about what I could tweak or what I need to do last minute. Because when I finally get that girl to bed, I'm done. I can't even think. I can't even think straight. I'm so frazzled. Sometimes when I drop her off at daycare in the morning, I'll pull away and sit in the car for 45 minutes before I can even get back on the road because I'm just trying to find my center, just breathing and getting back to a level adult head. It's very challenging for sure.
Yeah, entrepreneurship plus being a parent.
Yeah.
And a single, a solo parent.
Solo parent
is it's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole other thing. Okay, let's talk windows.
Yeah.
I've been in my house for 6 years. My house is by Texas standards is very old, right?
Mm-hmm.
When do I know I need to replace my windows? Is it just like they're drafty, or actually one broke, so I need to have you look at it? But why would I need to replace my windows? It feels like something that you just like have when the house is built and you're done.
Well, yeah, that's what a lot of people think. But, the baseline builder grade window that every house is built with, unless you have a custom home builder and they give you some options of different windows you can choose from, the window that's in your house is basically like the McDonald's of windows. Just super cheap material, super cheap parts thrown together. So the older homes, the area that you live in, your neighborhood's 22 years old?
Probably
23-ish.
Yeah, it was like early 2000s.
Yeah, early 2000s. So that whole area of Frisco, if the windows they were using when those homes were built, they're really rugged. It's an aluminum window, right? But these glass units, they're really thin and flimsy. The glass is completely clear. There's no kind of UV protection or any insulation from the outside elements. So even if your glass in your windows isn't really like fogging up or getting moisture or anything yet, what a lot of people don't realize is once the home hits about 17 to 18 years old and it has the original aluminum window in the opening, When the house is built, the aluminum windows basically cemented in place and it can't move. And our homes are always shifting and settling and breathing. So what happens is you have this home shifting and settling around a rigid metal frame that can't move, and it starts to really compress and contort the frame, which the windows that slide up and down in some of the older homes, they have the little metal rods in it and it's trying to scrape. That's because of all the shifting and settling and making the opening out of alignment. So what happens is all those parts and pieces in the frame start to wear down, and it creates gaps and air pockets. So when you have those old windows in your house, it's literally like you have holes in the wall around your entire house, and it's just sucking air out constantly. That's why the HVAC can't keep up with the thermostat setting that you put, because you're always bleeding air, and it's always sucking air in from the outside. I call it the energy vortex. So after a certain amount of time, there's been so much shifting, you're just constantly losing air. That's just through the frame. So when a lot of people start to get foggy glass, they think, hey, I need to get my glass replaced. Don't replace glass in an old aluminum metal frame. It's a complete waste of money, because you're just really putting some clear glass in a contorted frame that most of the energy loss is through the parts and the pieces and there's no protection in the aluminum. It's a conductor of heat and cold.
So what are they made of now if they're not made out of aluminum?
They're made of vinyl. So even the new modern homes that are being built, they're using vinyl windows, which we do vinyl replacement windows. Vinyl's not a conductor of heat and cold. So like replacement windows, they're designed to all the weather stays out and your AC and your heater stays in. If you have the old windows, it's like having a magnifying glass in the opening. So whatever's going on outside, it just accentuates it into the house.
I've felt that a lot this week. It's been very, very cold here in Texas.
Very frigid. It's been snowmageddon, ice-mageddon, frigid, tundra, just weird. But see, old aluminum windows, they're just conductors of all that stuff. So whatever's going on outside, it's going to stick it. It's going to bring it onto the inside. Now, the reverse is true with replacement windows. It's designed to keep everything out. So your heater and your AC stays in. The weather stays out. Your bills go down because the HVAC's not cranking and cranking and cranking and cranking, trying to keep up with the thermostat setting. So your HVAC system's going to last a whole lot longer because it's not cranking all the time. Not to mention noise protection. So the glass units in these replacement windows are twice as thick, and they have between the glass panes, there's argon gas between the glass, which is a muffler and an insulator. It's 7 times more dense than air. So when the cold air hits the glass, it just bounces off. When the heat hits the glass, it just bounces off. It can't penetrate through the gas. And these glass units are designed to never fail. Like they're not going to fog up. They're not going to leak gas, none of that. So windows, it's a one-and-done thing. It is an investment. It's not cheap. I mean, even if you go with the absolute cheapest first person you can find, which we're definitely not the cheapest, but we're very fairly priced, because some of those companies out there just gouge you. Big brands, big corporate advertising, stuff like that. And that's really what people are paying for. So beware, some of the big name companies play a lot of games and they're way overpricing you. So really in this area, if your home is over 17 years old and you still have that aluminum window, replace your windows if you've got the means to do it.
One of the things that we struggle with, so I'm in a townhouse community, and the HOA is very involved with the exterior of the building. How does that HOAs are such an interesting thing. We never had them where I grew up. I grew up on the East Coast, and we didn't have them. So how do HOAs play into replacing your windows? Do you usually have to get approval, or does it vary?
These days, it's not near. I mean, it's so common, especially where we live. People are replacing their windows. Now, I mean, if you can't like replace them with green windows or, anything crazy. But as long as if it's like a like for like situation, if you have just a standard white window and you just replace them with white windows, there are a few HOAs. If you notice the fronts of the homes where we live, they have the grids in the glass, the bars, the little tic-tac-toe thing in the glass. There are very few HOAs that you can replace your windows, but they also require you to have the grids still on the front. 99% of them don't care. This is what they care about. If you're going to do something to the front, you have to do the whole thing. You can't just replace a couple windows and then have a couple windows that are old still on the front. Everything has to match on the front. So, I mean, it's a one-day process. Usually HOAs for like remodeling, construction, add-ons, stuff like that. Window replacement, they don't care. But, there's still people that are like, I'm going to follow the rules and I'm going to submit to my HOA, blah, 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 come back in 4 weeks. And I'm like, I promise you they will say okay. They don't care. I've done thousands of windows in this area. Trust me, they all say the same thing. But hey, if you want, that's all good. I promise you they're not going to fine you. They probably encourage it because it makes the neighborhood look better. For sure, because replacement windows are beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some of the ones you've done, especially if you take out that those crossbars.
Yeah.
They look so much better.
Yeah, it really opens it up a lot. But, it's just little things. At first, when I got involved, it's because I was like, man, this is a good market. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to be able to set up retirement for my, I'm looking at it like that. But when I started replacing windows for some of my friends, and there was one in particular, I love to share this story. He had his coffee area in his house. He was miserable in it all the time because the windows were drafty. During the winter, it was totally miserable. Three robes, just aggravated all the time. One of my buddies from sobriety, and so I told him, I was like, dude, you need to replace those windows, man. I promise you, it'll change your environment. He's like, I don't believe that, whatever. And I was like, dude, do it, I promise. So 2022, when we had that 3-day ice Mageddon in 2022, we replaced those windows for him in his coffee area 4 days before the storm hit. Okay, 4 days. He called me the day after it started, laughing hysterically. And I was like, what are you laughing at, man? He said, dude, I am sitting here at my table in my boxers, enjoying my coffee for the first time in I don't know how long. And that hit me. I was like, dude, I just changed this guy's life. Sincerely. Now he's going to go into his day in a good mood. Like, what's that going to do? 3 weeks later, his wife called me and said, thank you so much. He's a different person. And it just hit me like, wow, I really am helping people get more cozy so they can have a more peaceful life. And it's the trickle-down effect is what gets me excited. What's possible now for that person that wasn't possible before? That's how I look at it. Maybe it's a little too woo-woo, but I don't care. I have to find purpose in everything that I do. If I'm going to do it, it's got to have a purpose. You know what I mean?
And that's probably why you guys are really rated #1 in the area, right? Is that it means something.
Yes. It means something to everybody on the team, to our installers, everyone working in the office. We just care. We show up on time. The installers are clean, sober, and happy and ready to work, love what they do. That's all they do. They are window experts. Communicate very clearly with the homeowner, show them what to expect. They're in and out. Everyone has a job. No one's on the phone. We just get in there and knock it out. And then if there is a mistake or something goes wrong because it's construction, we immediately take care of it. And that's why we're at 206 5-star reviews, nothing less. There's not a negative word about us anywhere online. I've had a few people choose us just because of that. This one lady, she was like, I have researched and researched. I can't find one negative word about you online anywhere. I'm going to go with you. And I was like, well, thank you, ma'am. I sure appreciate that. Yes, I do. But you can't see, it's always been that way. That's always been the philosophy. We're just thankful that we just happen to live in a time where everybody wants to yap about their experience online, right? And thankfully, we still do what we're supposed to do, so people are saying good stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's cool to see where it's come and how many people we get to help. And I really love the fact that it's running without me. That was my goal. When I came home from prison, my goal was I'm going to build this company, get this company to a place of running without me so I can go play golf with my dad. I just want to spend more time with my dad. As I wasn't 100% clear, I didn't say, and I'm not going to own it. But, hey, it doesn't matter. It's about the legacy. It's about the cause. It's about the purpose. I get to show up, I get to sell windows, I get to help people, and I get to hang out with my daughter. How cool is that?
That's all that matters.
That's the coolest thing. It's way cooler than status could ever be.
Yep.
But anyway, I kind of ramble about that sometimes because I get real excited about it. And every appointment I get to go to, I love doing consultations. I like to sit down with homeowners and find out where's the heat coming in, where's the cold coming in. Show me where the problems are in the house. Let's talk about that, because when you do this, it's going to change all that. And every single homeowner says the same thing. Why did I wait so long? I wish I'd have done this sooner, because most people don't think about windows. But it literally changes your whole entire environment. You can look at some of our Google reviews. People are just writing paragraphs like, it's like I'm seeing life in 4K for the first time. Or my whole place is cozy now. It's the same temperature everywhere. I'm not hearing the baby cry from next door at my dining room table. You know, you get a lot of that, especially in our kind of older area. But yeah, that's a little bit about why windows. And I think you asked something about vinyl windows.
Oh yeah, we talked about it. Is that it's vinyl now instead of aluminum?
Yeah, and even the builder grade vinyl ones that they use they're building these houses with, they're still the super cheap level. There's a couple different kinds of vinyl. There's repurposed vinyl and there's virgin vinyl. Virgin vinyl is pure. It's not going to blister or fade or crack or peel. So there are different types of vinyl. There are cheap vinyl windows and there's good vinyl replacement windows. So you got some of these homes in Prosper that are 4 and 5 years old. The windows that they're putting in this house, they look nice, but the glass units are horrible. They're very cheap. I'm seeing them fog up and turn into prisms after 4 years. We get calls all the time from these $2 million homes in Prosper and Salina. They're like, hey, come look at some of this glass. It's turning into a rainbow after 4 years. So you said, when do I replace my windows? If you haven't replaced your windows, you need to replace your windows, because your windows play a huge part in the functionality of your home, and they are not built with good windows unless it's custom and they give you the option. So, yeah, it's a cool thing. Just hearing people's success stories, life after replacement. Yeah, it's almost like a reality show.
Ooh, that needs to be your other podcast.
A life after replacement.
What it's like now, this is what it was like. Thanks, Lyndol.
But I guess I've heard some cool stories. I've heard some really cool stories about what people have done in their newfound clarity. Another neat one too is there was an older couple. I replaced their windows, and what excited them the most is they could actually sit at their dining room table and see their grandkids playing in the backyard in 4K. Because before, the windows were fogged up, the glass was old and dingy. So, you know when you walk through Best Buy and all the TVs on display have like bright pinks and bright greens and stuff to show off the 4K ultra high def, right? The way this glass is, it's kind of like putting polarized Ray-Bans on your house. Okay, so it blocks out all the harmful UV rays. So from the inside looking out, it literally looks like you're looking at a 4K TV. The pinks in your back, like if you have trees and like flowers and stuff in your backyard, it makes the colors pop. It makes it a lot more vibrant. So when you're looking out at your backyard, it's like a whole new world. So I've had some little old grandparents, like that's been the best thing. I can literally sit at my table and watch my grandson having fun in the backyard in 4K. Few people have put that on there, in 4K at the very end. And I'm like, that's cool, man. That's cool. Like, sorry, it's nerded out, but I think that's cool. Yeah.
You want a job where you nerd out.
Yes, absolutely.
Always.
Yeah.
That's like my requirement for work. I mean, yeah, I'd like to make money and I want to be able to pay my bills and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to like nerd out every day with like cool people.
Yep.
That's my only goal.
Yep.
I want to, work with cool people, selling cool products that make a difference somehow in other people's lives. And if like I can do that, cool.
Yeah.
Pay the bills.
Yeah. And I think these days we can do that. There's so many different cool ways that we can use technology to nerd out and turn it into income, or, however you put it, nerd out daily, What's Heart of the Hustle mean to you?
Yeah. So to me, it's every small business owner that I know does this for a reason, right? They want, and if they're just doing it for money, they often just burn out and they're gone, right? The people who really are successful long term, there's a heart component to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it might be I get to just look at my kids outside, or I get to have my coffee without it being cold, right? And it can be these little things. And so the conversations I like to have and the people that I like to hang out with are the ones who have a heart behind it, or a story of how they got here.
Yeah.
And those are the people who are really, really interesting, and I think are the ones who are going to make a real change in the world.
Yeah.
Right? If we can just have business be more heart-centered.
100%. How did I do good? Do I fit the bill?
I think so. I think you passed the test.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
We'll let all of you guys decide.
Yeah,
there.
let me know.
Put in the comments whether or not Lyndol passed the test of having heart in the hustle.
You know, one time I said this at a networking event. You know how when you go to networking events, everyone does a little 30-second commercial and you have a tagline for your business and all that fun stuff. I said this once at a networking group, and I tried to bring it to the office and say, hey, let's implement this and actually use it. I was very vetoed, but I said, Woodruff Windows, we have a heart on for your home. They shut it down. I was like, come on, man, that's perfect. That's amazing. Yeah, isn't that great though?
I love it.
We have a heart on for your home.
I love it. I think you need to go back and try to convince them.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, it's so great to have you here. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
And we can't wait to see your podcast. Everybody keep an eye out. It's going to be called Clarity Changes Everything.
Clarity Changes Everything.
And it'll be out on my socials, out on your socials. So keep an eye out for it.
Yeah. So we're Woodruff Windows. You asked how people can
get a hold of me. They can also find you at Woodruff Windows.
I wanted to circle back to that for that contact information, because that's of course the main thing. We love helping families in Collin County. This is where we're rooted. But yeah, Woodruff Windows. Woodruff is 2 F's like on the hat. WoodruffWindows.com. I do want to encourage everybody to check out some of the Google reviews though, and see what some of the people are saying, because they're literally writing love letters. And a lot of the questions that people have about window replacement, they're answered in the reviews. Right. But yeah, we do complimentary consultations. We have several people working in the office. So if you do want to set up a complimentary consultation with me and just have me come over and check out your windows and sit and chat with you, you can just text Clarity. This is the easiest way. Text Clarity to 214-225-1922. That's 214-225-1922. Text Clarity to that, and Shaniqua in the office will give you a call and get you on my schedule.
Excellent.
So yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to help more people.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Sharon.